loving you.
something inside of me told me this would be my day. I heard the morning train, I felt the wind change. Too many times I'm on my way. Come on, sunshine, what can you show me? Where can you take me to make me understand? The wind can shake me, brothers forsake me, the rain me. Again I touch the rain. Then I saw the sunrise above a cotton sky, like a candy cane delight. I saw the milkman, I saw the businessman, I saw the only road in sight. Then I got to thinking, what makes you want to go, to know the wherefore and the why. So many times now, oh Lord, I can't remember if it's September or July. Come on, sunshine, what can you show me? Where can you take me and make me understand? The wind can shake me, brothers forsake me, the rain can touch me, again I touch the rain. Then all at once it came to me, I saw the wherefore, and you can see it if you try. It's in the sun above, it's in the one you love, you'll never know the reason why. Come on, sunshine, what can you show me? Where can you take me to make me understand? The wind can shake me, the brothers forsake me, the rain can touch me, again I touch the rain. So much to lose, so much to gain.
If my words did glow with the gold of sunshine, and my tunes were played on the harp unstrung, would you hear my voice come through the music? Would you hold it near as it were your own? It's a hand-me-down. The thoughts are broken, perhaps they're better left unsung. I don't know, don't really care. Let there be songs to fill the air. Ripple in still water, when there is no pebble toss, no wind to blow, reach out your hand. If your cup be empty, if your cup is full, may it be again, let it be known. There is a fountain that was not made by the hands of men. There is a road, no simple highway between the dawn and the dark of night. And if you go, no one may follow. That path is for your steps alone. Ripple in still when there is no pebble tossed, no wind to blow. You choose to lead, must follow. But if you fall alone. If you should stand, then who's to guide you? If I knew the way, I would take you home. La da da da, la da 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 da, la da da, la da la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da da, la da da da.
The best of the best, there's another organization here that works with a lot of these boats. I'm just going to assume that BSLOL does not stand for what I assume it stands for. What is BSLOL?
BSLOL is the Bob Speltz Land O'Lakes chapter of the Antique and Classic Boat Society. Some of us pronounce BSLOL as lots of fun.
This is going to be an amazing event, so you want to make sure that late September, the 20th through the 26th of 2015, that's 2 years from this coming September, September 2015, Bar Harbor is going to be the place to be. What can you expect from a giant year like this, Steve?
There is going to be a lot of great boats from all over the country and a lot of people here to enjoy them all. We're going to be entertaining people different lakes around the area here. And everybody from around the country is going to walk away from this 2015 show thinking there's never going to be a better show that they've ever been to.
You know, and this makes me tingle because I've got the boat fever. And, you know, the other Dave here also has got the wood boat disease in a big way. What does this mean that something of this magnitude is coming to your backyard?
Well, it's really an honor to be selected, and we had to go through a selection process and make a presentation to the International Board of Directors to get it to come here. But of all of the things that we had to do, we could not have done it without the cooperation and the enthusiastic support of Bar Harbor and John Allen and his crew, who are really enthusiastic about making this the best show ever as well.
So this is going to be a big event in 2015. It really will be an event. Steve and Dave, we're going to let you guys run. Thank you guys. 2015, looking very forward to it.
Thank you.
chips fall where they will. 'Cause I've got boats to build. Our shores, distant shores, there's where I'm headed for. Got the stars to guide my way, sailing to the light of day. I'm gonna build me a boat with these two hands. It'll be a fair curve from a noble plan. Let the chips fall where they will. 'Cause I'm gonna build me a boat with these two hands. It'll be a fair curve from a noble plan. Let the chips fall where they will. 'Cause I've got boats to build.
You'll have another round. Even if you're going to make it 10A, that's okay. Take your scalp. They're going to be working hard in this hot sweat as well.
So stop down there at slip number 4 to take a look at a Dodge water car. You don't see many of those.
Now, if you do want to see the Dodge water car close up, and not just here, but some of the other amazing things, if I wanted to go swing by the Alexandria area, I'm driving to I-94, what must I do to go see all the treasures you've got there?
Well, thank you for asking. You just have to pull off I-94, head down Main Street of Alexandria till you get to the end, take a left, and we are the Minnesota Lakes Maritime Museum. Easy to find. We're open every day all summer long, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5, and again Sunday afternoon. So anytime you're in the neighborhood, please stop in. It's well worth the visit. Our visitors say wow when they come in, and they say thank you when we leave. And there are many people here today at this boat show who are avid supporters of the Maritime Museum, and we thank them all for that.
Now, another thing that a lot of people really have an interest from, it's a Minnesota classic, Falls Flyer. Now, there's one here today that is very unusual for a Falls Flyer. One, it's an inboard, and two, apparently you've got the reverse of a shrink ray, and you've blown it up to, it's the biggest Falls Flyer I personally have ever seen. What can you tell me about that monster down there?
Well, it's brought to here by a friend of the museum, Pat Carnes, who's an avid supporter of the museum and brought a number of his boats to our boat show, where we featured Falls Flyers this year. And we had about 20 different ones on land and in the water. His is quite unique. It's a 21-foot double cockpit inboard, and not too many of those are made. We can't quite put a date on it, between 1938 and 1940. Mr. Paul Larson, the president of Larson Boat Works, wanted to do something special for a native son, Mr. Lindbergh. So he designed this boat. It's got two cockpits to look like the old airplanes. It is really covered with fabric. It's got a wood frame, but the outside is fabric, just like the airplanes of the day, fabric and then dope. Later on in the 50s, they went into fiberglass production of these, but you don't see too many inboards, 21-footers. This is a gorgeous boat. The museum has a split cockpit. Mr. Anderson has a unique one that he brought down to our show called Boondoggle, which has one cockpit way in the back, very unique racing-looking piece. So that was very nice to see. Larson and their falls flyers have really increased in value. They're hard to find, and they're more common is the 14-foot outboards. You don't see many like Mr. Carnes is showing here today.
Now, unique is a term that gets placed on many a boat here. The falls flyer, that big one by far, is going to be one of those most unique. But also on top of that, let's talk age. Some of these boats here are not as old as you'd think. Some are reproductions, maybe built as recently as the last decade, but they look like they were from the past. But we've got a boat here. As you're working your way onto the dock, if you take a left and go all the way to the end, you'll see a launch down there that is legitimately over 100 years old. And whether you are a wood boatie yourself or this is your first experience to them, you could take a ride on this launch that is from 1907. Tell me about this beauty.
Well, this is a Fay and Bowen, and one of our members, Carl Mammal, helped restore this and have it delivered to the museum and donated it to the museum. And this is what we use to market the museum. Take it to your boat show and give people rides in it so they have that deja vu of the early 1900s. It's an elegant vessel going across the water. It's got a 10-horse Kermath engine, which fires about once every 2 seconds, so it's got a whole different putt feel to it. But it's just elegant. So please come down and we'll take you for a ride. We have an experienced pilot, Darren Erlinson, who brings us boat to different shows. He is a great volunteer. This Fay and Bowen is just a flashback in time. You need to stop down at the far left dock, take a look at it, and if line's not too long, go for a ride. We'd appreciate it.
If you're thinking about having a hot date with your hot date on a hot day, you can have your own Spencer Tracy kind of Hepburn moment on this. Almost looks like something out of the African Queen down there, and go for a ride on the launch. He will give the rides, and they're free, right?
They are free. The boats follow the looks of the car of the day. And this time, in early 1900s, there weren't many cars. There were just more carriages. So that's the reason for the fringe Surrey top and that look. So stop on down, go for a ride, and again, thanks for supporting the Minnesota Lakes Maritime Museum, all the members here that do that. Appreciate it.
Now, Bruce, as soon as we were mentioning rides on this elegant, over 100-year-old launch, people started getting up, bringing their drinks, they're going down there. I'm going to let you go because you got a line of people waiting to hop on board. Bruce Olson, thank you very much.
Enjoyed the visit. Thank you.
Get on down and join Bruce. He's getting on his launch right now. Don't forget, get your ballots turned in by 3.
First time in a while.
Roberson, who brings in a Hydra-Dyne, which is one of the more legendary ski boats in existence. Wes, welcome to the boat show.
Glad to meet you.
Now, you brought this Hydra-Dyne, that just the name Hydra-Dyne is kind of an unusual name. It's not as synonymous as Larson or even Chris Craft, but this has got a history that is, well, it definitely piques your interest. Tell me a little bit about these Hydra-Dynes.
Well, back in '69 when I bought it, it was the top ski boat of the country at that time. And I was a professional water skier and a tournament water skier, so I had to have the best boat of the time to ski behind because it was the same one I was going to be skiing in the tournaments, so I had to have the same wake. So that's why I bought the Hydra-Dyne. But going back, Ab Crosby was the designer of the Hydra-Dyne. He made the Crosby boats before the Hydra-Dyne. Then he sold the company, but was still working with the company, but got in a fight with the owner, took a 6-week vacation, came back for one day, took another 6-week vacation and designed the Hydra-Dyne, and then switched over. So, but now we found out some interesting facts about it. 5 out of the first 7 astronauts, the original astronauts, 5 of them owned Hydra-Dynes. And for some reason, at NASA, there was a picture of a Hydra-Dyne on the wall. We haven't figured out what the connection was as yet.
This is not a jet-powered boat, no.
No, it's the one I have is a 160 Merc Cruiser. They did in about 71 or 72, they started putting V8s in them. And it didn't last much after that. They went out of business. All the big inboards were coming in, taking over. Jacqueline Kennedy also took delivery on one the day John was shot. But that boat is still out in Massachusetts someplace. Somebody's using it. Originally, when I got mine, there were 12 in the state, counting the twin rigs that the clubs had. We had the big twin rigs. Mine got stolen one day, and it was easily found because it was a rare boat that stood out. It was easy for me to get it back. The reason behind why I got into water skiing was Bar Harbor, actually. When I was 8 years old, I was over at the relatives. We went in the rowboat over to the ski show at Bar Harbor and fireworks on the 4th of July, and I thought it was the best thing I seen. I wanted to be a water skier. So from then on, I worked at being a water skier. That's why I ended up buying a Hydra-Dyne.
And one of the interesting things here, you know, you've got some of these fiberglass boats that are definitely vintage, and you've got a lot of the classic mahogany type boats, but that's not to say that these fiberglass boats, and even in some case, some of those aluminum boats, get overlooked sometimes as classics, but these are the ones that a lot of us grew up, whether in, on, or behind.
It's just, everybody is spotting it. Oh, I haven't seen one of those in years and years. They're hard to find. Mine happened to be a little different than most of them. Most of them were without windshield and only 3 seats, driver and 2 observers. And mine, I ordered a few little extras in it because it was more of my own boat. But we still used it in tournaments in the Midwest. It was used in several tournaments around the Midwest. Last time I used this boat was in 2000. When I first moved up here, we bought the old family home. We went out, came out of the channel here in Booming Out Bay, and the waves were coming over the bow. We turned around and said, we need a bigger boat. We took the boat out of the water. It was not put back in the water until last year for the boat show. Out again and back in for this show.
It's nice to see these boats getting back into service. If you guys want to talk boat and you want to talk shop, he's a character. Wes is going to be found in the hat, so go talk to Wes and talk boat. You're going to have a nice afternoon. Wes, enjoy yourself for the glads.
Thank you very much.
Make sure that you make your cast boats count. Now, some folks we're here that are fun to talk to. They've got a history in wood boats, whether they've got a boat here or elsewhere, or they've just got a passion for them. And that's what makes one of the things about this boat show so special and unique. We've got an organization here today that is renowned worldwide and across the state and across the area. A lot of people, as part of their morning routine, they're going to have their cup of joe and jump online to Woodyboater.com. And the guy from it all right now, who it doesn't even matter what his real name is because you know him as Tex. Tex, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Now, you, like me, have got this sickness. Anybody that's involved in wood boats, whether you work on them, whether you own them, you know what we're talking about. It really is a disease. How did you get afflicted with this crippling disease?
I grew up with wooden boats as a young boy up in Canada, and about 15 years ago, I got back into the hobby to kind of relive some of those great childhood memories, and that's what brought me deeply into the hobby and as a reporter for the wooden boat hobby today.
What was the style of boat back in your youth that really got you hooked for the first time?
The style of boat that my family owned that I grew up with for over 10 years was Dunphy, a plywood outboard ski boat that we loved to death, and it came right from this area of America.
you know, the fun thing is about the wood boats, you've got these absolutely priceless museum pieces. You got the little jalopy, so to speak, to use a car term, and everything in between. And sometimes those little ski boats are absolutely fantastic. But as it happens in a lot of families, for whatever reason, the boat wrecked or got rotted or had to be sold or whatever the case. And then you had to start regular adult life. But it always, if you get this disease, it never goes away, this wood boat need, and you got pulled back into it. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, when I got back into it about 15 years ago, I bought a 1952 Chris Craft Riviera and spent 8 years restoring it. And finally, after 8 years, I took it to the Lake Tahoe Concourse last year and won first place in my class.
Nice. See, anybody that's got this wood boat sickness, you can turn things around from being a lover of them to, well, having your own possession of one, I guess. And then you got involved in the wood boats kind of online area. Tell me more about how this got going and what this is about.
5 years ago, we started a small blog online called Woodyboater.com, and we reported usually one story a week, one story every 10 days, and more information was coming in, and people were more interested in going, having one place to go to learn anything to do with the antique and classic boat hobby. And it grew and grew and grew to a point where today we do one story, at least one story a day, 365 days a year. It's on your computer at woodyboater.com every morning. This morning I published the story at 3:30 before I went to bed, so it would be fresh on this boat show this morning. And it's grown now to where we average about 7,000 to 10,000 visitors every day on the website, 365 days a year.
So remember this, today it's sunny and 90 degrees. In a few weeks, it's going to be 40 below. You're going to be looking out at your favorite lake, and it's going to be frozen over, and it's going to be a pond hockey tournament instead. This is the site to go to. You can get your boat fix, even in the dead of winter, woodyboater.com. He's looking for stories, and every Woody here has got this disease, and they've got their stories to tell, and Tex has got some great ears to hear them. He's not wearing a 10-gallon hat, but you're going to find him through his very stylish Ray-Ban eyewear. Tex, enjoy the stories, because you're going to get an earful today.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be part of this show. We're blessed to be here.
Thank you much, Tex. That's Tex from woodyboater.com. Make sure you check things out, look online. Everyone's got their smartphones. You can hang out in the shade and drink lots and read up on woodyboater.com. We also
takes away all of your big problems. You got worries, you could drop them in the blue ocean, but you gotta get away to where the boat leaves from. Take 1 part sand, 1 part sea, and 1 part shade of a 9 tree. And the drinks set cold and the reggae is hot, and I know this is the place for me. Get away to where the boat leaves from. It takes away all of your big problems. You got worries, you could drop them in the blue ocean, but you gotta get away to where the boat leaves. Jimmy, it's a perfectly good island somewhere where a ride that floats. And don't grab your coat, you won't need it where we are going. Get away to where the boat leaves from. It takes away all of your big problems. You got worries, you can drop them in the blue ocean, but you gotta get away to where the boat leaves from. Pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. Put me down, down in the sand where it's cool. Put me down, and when I fall on my stool, put me down. I'll just sleep there till morning comes round. With sunshine, 10 ladies, and pina coladas, and Bob Marley songs that are playing. There's a song in my ear that I want you to hear. Soft tropical lips that are singing. Get away to where the boat leaves from. It takes away all of your big problems. You got worries, you can drop them in the blue ocean, but you gotta get away to where the boat leaves from. So get away to where the boat leaves from. It takes away all of your big problems. You got worries, you can drop them in the blue ocean, but you gotta get away to where the... So get away to where the boat leaves from. It takes away all of your big problems. You got worries, you can drop them in the blue ocean, but you gotta get away to where the boat leaves from.
hubby's working up an appetite, looking forward to a little afternoon delight. Rubbing sticks and stones together make the sparks ignite, and the fall of weather news get me so excited. Sky rockets in flight, afternoon delight, afternoon delight.
Talking to some of these guys and gals that have brought these boats, and the history behind them is really kind of interesting. But another part of these things that kind of gets by is where these boats are kept. Some of them on trailers in museums, under boat lifts, under tarps at the dock. They run the gamut, and some of them you'll find in old boathouses. You don't see a whole lot of them anymore. In fact, there's some chit-chat about one up in the Boundary Waters area, the fish house that was up there, built way long ago. And there's a nice gentleman that's from the Ely area, wrote a really nice book. Bob Matson wrote a book all about the boathouses and what's in them. Bob, welcome to the Gull Lake Boat Show.
Thank you very much, Dave. It's wonderful to be here, and what a fabulous show this is. I just love it, and the weather is just perfect for us, and the crew here at Bar Harbor has done a wonderful job with the show.
Glad to have you here, Bob. One of those things, not only it's as interesting as those really old boats, and check that thing out, but where they're kept. And the boathouses, they used to be all over the place, and they've been disappearing over the years. And this was a fascination of yours. Tell me how this book that you wrote, what's in your boathouse, how did you get around to this, and what inspired you to write something like this?
Well, actually, Dave, the inspiration for this book came from a book not about boats, but a book about cars. Years ago, I picked up a book from Tom Cotter entitled The Cobra in the Barn. And it was all about him traveling around looking in people's barns, and he discovers a Ford Cobra under a chicken coop. And he goes and knocks on the door, and he says, "Is this car for sale?" And the woman says, "Would $50 be too much?" Well, he later restores that Ford Cobra and sells it at a Sotheby auction for $230,000. And I said, the same thing could be said about boats. There's got to be a lot of boat stories out there. So I've been asking people what's in their boathouse for years. And I've assembled a tremendous collection of family histories, serendipitous tales, incredible restorations, along with a lot of photos of pleasure craft in barns, in garages, and where they really belong, on the water. The book also features a cover photo by National Geographic photographer Jim Brandenburg. The foreword was written by Dennis Evinrude. And I feature two of the exclusive stories on whatever happened to the boats used in the movie on Golden Pond, the holy grail of wood boat enthusiasts everywhere.
Yeah, in fact, one of those boats from the On Golden Pond, those U-22s, a couple of them were here in the North Country just a couple years ago. Even I had a pleasure in my boat to be driving alongside. What were the odds? I could almost look over and see Fonda and Hepburn and the crew. It was amazing. Now, you clearly have got the Woody fever also. This is kind of my favorite question because everybody has a story, just like this book is full of the stories behind the boats, the stories behind this, and the stories behind the people. What's the story where you got your fever for these old classic, whether wood or mahogany boats or anything else?
Well, I think it was actually my own boat, which turns out to be an aluminum boat, but it was after I did the restoration of my 1958 Crestliner Voyager. And there were so many incredible coincidences surrounding this restoration that I knew that I had the first chapter of my book.
This is a book that's going to be for sale right here. So the stories behind the boats, behind the people, behind the boats. It's an interesting read. It's going to look great on the coffee table, and it's going to be even a more fun read when January comes and boating is a long, distant memory away. Bob Matson, if you're going to buy a copy of your book today, where can we find you to buy a purchase?
I'm right over there, and if you do buy my book, make sure I sign it for you and visit with my dog Walleye.
Very nice pictures, very nice stories, and he's a character to talk to. Bob, thank you. Bob's going to be here selling copies of his book. Once again, I do want to remind you.
Life in a northern town. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
sunset color all across the bay finds me here alone at the end of one more day, skipping stones across the water, wonder why ever thought you'd stay. Hey, hey, palm trees sway in the evening breeze, sing a lullaby, sweet love to me. Sailboat sail away into the amber sky, and I wonder why I ever thought you'd stay. Sail on, sail away, may all your dreams come true one day. Sail on, sail away, I wonder why I ever thought you'd stay. Sail on, sail away, may all your dreams come true one day. Sail on, sail away, I wonder why I ever thought you'd stay. I wonder why I ever thought you'd stay. Sail on, sail away, sail on, sail away, sail on, sail
alone. If you should stand, then who's to guide you? If I knew the way, I would take you home. La da da da, la da da.